Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm in the shop. I got my truck pulled into the shop here, and this isn't going to be a lumber video, but I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about rust prevention and what I'm doing to try to keep my truck as long as possible. So it's not necessarily a lumber video, but hopefully it's a helpful tip, and I thought a lot of you guys might find it interesting for your cars, trucks, equipment, stuff like that. So let's get into it. So I had to buy a new truck in 2019, not necessarily because I wanted to, but my last truck rotted out, and I did what I could to save it. We tried to patch the frame and do a bunch of stuff, but it was just getting to the point. Rust is almost like cancer. If you don't catch it early enough, you just can't ever catch up. And it just got to the point it wasn't making sense to put any more time or money into it, which is a shame. I loved that truck. That was a 12-valve Cummins diesel, so any of you guys that are familiar with them know that they're really, really good trucks. They don't really make anything equivalent to them today, but it just wasn't worth putting anything more into. So I ended up buying a new truck, which, don't get me wrong, this is a nice truck. I really enjoy it. But when I bought it, I decided to do a lot of research and decided I'm not going to let this one rust out. I'm going to do what I have to do to try to prevent it as best I can. So I did a ton of research online, and the one thing I kept coming back to was fluid film. There's a lot of products out there, actually some stuff I've tried and used in the past, but a lot of guys swore by fluid film. So I started looking it up and, seeing what was all involved in it, and it seemed like a good product. So I bought this truck in spring, and I drove it all summer, and then before the first winter, I coated it with fluid film. Now this is going to be the 5th winter this truck's been through, and it doesn't have a spot of rust on it. It is completely clean underneath. I'm not going to say like the day it rolled off the showroom because, well, it's a little dirtier, but there's certainly no rust. So I'm very happy with the results I've been getting so far, and I'll show you. All I do is I get this on Amazon. I'm starting to see it places now. I think I even might have seen it at Lowe's, but I get it on Amazon. I get a 6-pack. I'll put a link in the description of this video if you guys are interested in this. The fluid film you can get just about anywhere. The one thing that I'm sure if you looked around you could find it locally, but this little tip, it's not anything really groundbreaking, it's not high tech, but this little tip, the fluid film cap pops off, and you put this thing on, and it's got this little 360-degree tip on it, and that baby just shoots every which way. It makes a mist every which way. And I'll show you why that's important in a minute when we get down on the creeper. But basically every fall, what I do before we start cutting trees, basically, because for my schedule, that's when I have time, I wash the truck, pull it in here, and then I just go through the frame, front to back, side to side, in and out of the frame. Just try to coat the whole thing. And this fluid film is real thick, and it coats and it sticks. That's really good, and maybe to some guys, not so good. So what it does, when you first spray it, it's going to look shiny, kind of greasy, and it's going to stick onto everything you spray, and it kind of actually spreads a little bit, and then it starts to dry, and it makes a coating that, honest to God, pretty much lasts. Now I just washed this truck really thoroughly, and I'm still washing off bits and pieces of it from last year. So it makes a really nice coating on your frame, which is what you want. It's like an oil-based coating that'll stop the rust. And to some guys it may not be good, because if you drive on a lot of dirt roads like I do, it will pick up dirt, and it doesn't look the nicest. It doesn't look bad, doesn't look any more dirty than if your truck was dirty, but I know some guys like to keep their trucks like absolutely immaculate. I'm not necessarily like that because, well, my truck gets worked. So I'll take you underneath and show you what it's going to look like once I start spraying, but it does a pretty nice job. And I use the rattle cans. You can actually get this stuff in bulk, like in gallon cans, and get a spray gun that sprays it. But I've read mixed reviews on that. You know, you almost need to buy a higher quality spray gun, because some of the cheaper ones they sell, people have problems with. And quite honestly, to do it once a year, the convenience of just shaking, spraying, throwing away is easier for me than fooling around with a spray gun, cleaning a spray gun, maintaining all that stuff. It's cheaper that way, I guess, in the long run, until you defer the cost of the spray gun, but honestly, I'm not doing that much. If I had a whole fleet, maybe I'd change my mind, but for doing my pickup here, rattle cans work pretty good. So you're gonna need that, like I said, that spray tip. A creeper definitely helps, unless you have a lift. If you have a lift, then you're better off than me. I wish I did. Maybe one day I'll invest in a lift. I got my lamp set up underneath there so I can see what I'm doing. And safety glasses are definitely a good idea, because this stuff sprays around and you don't want to get it in your eye. Ask me how I know. Been there, done that. So let's get set up underneath. I'll get on the creeper. We'll see where we can stick you guys, and we'll start spraying some of this stuff. All right, so we're laying underneath. We're looking at the inside of the frame rail. Now, I thought I washed this pretty thorough, but I guess this is one of those spots you just can't really get at. And you can kind of see here what this looks like. This is last year's. So the oil's underneath, and then it picks up a layer of dust. But I can just kind of take my finger, and that's, you know, that's down to the frame. And obviously that frame is, you know, good as new. So it does make a coating that lasts. So honestly, what I'm going to do is just spray over this again. That doesn't bother me at all. I've had mechanics tell me this stuff is great because bolts and stuff, suspension parts that normally get seized up on a truck that has fluid film, you know, they don't have near the trouble with trying to, oh, that's not a very flattering angle of me. I'm just going to turn you guys around. They don't have near the trouble getting off stuck fasteners. You know, if you've ever worked on a car that has a rusted suspension parts, you know how miserable of an experience that can be. So this stuff doesn't bother me at all. I'm just going to spray over that. And if I'm being honest, the outside of the frame isn't really your concern on a newer vehicle. It's the inside. Modern trucks and cars have these fully boxed frames that they claim are much stronger. I'm sure they are. But the problem is they have these boxed frames and they got all these holes in them. It's like Swiss cheese. So, you know, that road salt and the brine they're using nowadays, that gets in every nook and cranny. It becomes a mist when you drive over it. That's getting in there, and it can't ever get out. And you can't even hardly wash that out, no matter how hard you try, because there's just nowhere for it to go. There's some drain holes, but you'll never get that fully clean. So my theory with this truck was catch it before it starts, because that's the best way to take care of rust. Address it before you have a problem, because trying to catch up to it is near impossible. I've learned that from experience. So that's why I do the interior of the frame every year. I'll just work my way front to back, hitting all these holes. Well, I won't hit every single hole, but like I'll take this hole and I'll work my tip that I showed you in this way. I'll shoot, pull back, run it that way, shoot. And there's enough of these holes that you can pretty much cover the whole entire inside of the frame just that way. And that's why that tip is so important, because when that's shooting in there, that's spraying every which way. It's coating the entire inside of the frame. So I'll do that. I'll spray my cross members and stuff. Try to keep it off your exhaust. Once you do this and you drive, you know, the first time you start your car up and drive, you're going to smell it burning off the exhaust. It's not a big deal. It'll just burn off. You know, it's not really, unless they're really coating it on there, I don't think you'll have any issues with that. But you will smell it burn off. Same way if you'd happen to get it on like the engine and stuff like that. But I've never had any issue with that. So we're just gonna work our way along here. But let me roll down here. I'll show you. I mean, this truck's, it looks dirty. I mean, it doesn't present well, but it's in really good shape. And well, now I see the alternative is the exhaust here, which isn't coated, and well, you guys know exhaust always rusts, but look at that thing. That's, yeah, that's not good. I'm probably gonna have a problem with that sooner than later. And that's the thing, I mean, this truck's not that old, but this salt brine they're using nowadays is so wicked. I mean, it is just horrible. I've been against it for years just because I see the damage it does and how much it costs people. And well, we all know the price of vehicles, particularly pickup trucks, is just getting out of hand. So my whole goal here is to protect this, keep this thing running as long as I possibly can, just because, well, you want to get the most out of your money you can. So I'm gonna get my safety glasses on here, shake, 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 and we'll get to spraying. So that was real easy, just like that. I went that way, I went that way, and that section's done. I'll move on to the next part. And if you're wondering about what kind of coverage you're getting, some of these holes are actually big enough, at least on my truck here, I could get a light or even an inspection mirror in and actually take a look, but I've done it enough, I'm pretty comfortable with it. So I'll give you guys another quick pro tip while I'm at it here. On the cans you're going to use this special tip on, and you're not using the factory red tip, pull that tip off and save it. If you're like me, you always got cans of old spray paint or who knows what that don't shoot anymore because the tip's clogged. So I always like to keep those tips on hand. So there's a tip, no pun intended. And like I said before, I'm going to include a link to the fluid film 6-pack and this special adapter here. Like I said, it's nothing special, but it's handy, very handy to have to get this job done. In full disclosure, I'm an Amazon affiliate, so if you click on the link through the description of this video, I'll get a few pennies for it. So I just want to be fully transparent with you guys, and I'm not trying to sell you something here, but it's a product I use, and I'm just trying to help everybody out here if I can spread some information. Forgot to mention gloves help too. Help you keep a little bit clean. Wear old clothing. I mean, if you watch the channel, you know me, this is just another day in the office. I'm always dirty, covered in sawdust and grease and stuff anyway, so this is nothing new for me, but you'll definitely get a little dirty doing this. It drips on you. There's no two ways about it. So I just went through the inside of the frame rails, both sides. Only took a couple minutes. Usually takes me 2 cans. That's what I use. So now I'm just going to use my regular tip that comes on here. Just a standard spray tip. They have the little straw. I don't really use that. But now I get to go along both sides underneath the underbody and do the outside. So I'll spray a little bit here and then I'll show you what it actually looks like. Now I'm going to get underneath there and get it from the other angle to totally cover it. But just to give you guys an idea, when it's sprayed, basically is going to look like that for a day or two. It kind of makes your frame look glossy. Now I have old stuff there, so it kind of looks a little dingy, but it's actually, it's like a lanolin product. I don't know the chemistry behind it, but it's thick and it kind of has a yellowish color. It's real oily. I don't know why it works. I don't really know the science, other than when I researched it, everybody swears it works. And I know it just makes a impervious coating over everything. And like I said, it kind of creeps and sticks and makes a coating that the rust can't penetrate. So I'm happy with it. In fact, let me take you to the back here. Let's take the creeper with us, because when I was doing the inside of the frame rails, I saw something here I don't like so much. This is not easy to do one-handed. Whoa. Bear with me, we're rolling. Apparently I don't spray the spare tire. I know that because there's nothing on it. And well, you can see what that looks like. No bueno. The hardware and up in there, I don't know why I never sprayed this. I guess it was just an afterthought. Never really thought to spray it. But it provides a contrast here that you can see what this frame would start to look like. And even the bracket that holds it up there, it's not looking so hot. Now, don't get me wrong, this has a lot of life in it, but that's what the frame of this truck would look like. And I would not be so happy with that with a 4-year-old truck if the whole thing looked like that. So there again, that's why I'm doing this. If you live in the Northeast, you know it's just gotten worse now that they use that brine instead of the granular salt. A lot of places, that stuff is horrible. If you live in the South, I'm jealous. Well, not really. I wouldn't want your heat, but you know, at least in the winters, I'm jealous. So it's just something we all have to deal with, and this is my take on dealing with it. So it's not a lumber video, but hopefully you guys get some value out of it, because that's what this channel's all about, is helping you guys out and teaching a little bit, and hopefully give you some value. So I'm definitely going to keep up with this. When I get new equipment, I kind of have my eyes set on a lumber truck in the next 2 years or so. You know, depending on what I do there, something I'll do. I don't really do my older stuff because, like I said, if it has rust on it, well, you're not really going to do much with this product, or any product really. I've been there, done that. The best thing you can do is catch it before it starts. So some food for thought. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll catch you next time. See ya.